3, 2, 1, and we are
We're
live.
live,
What's
brother.
up?
Early
Kyle Hebenstreit, dude.
after a good adventure. Yes, man.
Man, what a fun couple days.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Jesus.
Yeah. Central, southern Wisconsin, backpacking, staying overnight in the freezing cold, 32-degree weather.
Yeah.
A little unprepared for that, but very, very fun, man. Beautiful sights. Amazed by how Western and exotic this region of Wisconsin is.
Yeah. Just finished a 14-mile hike with my good buddy here, Kyle. This is the Conversations with Friends podcast. I am your host, Nick Worley. One of my very best friends here, most spiritual best friends, Kyle Hebenstreit. Pleasure to have you on, man.
Thank you for having me. Yeah, it's great.
In this podcast, we talk about things like motivation, work ethic, things that make you most productive as you organize your time. Definitely want to get into all that, talk about what you currently do. But let's just start with hiking, man. Keep it light.
Start with what we just did.
You've been loving hiking. We talked earlier today about how you would be comfortable hiking frequently, like on a monthly level, weekly level. What's your kind of temperance for hiking?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, just like you, I love in hiking the ability. What I think it's best at is delving into nature, the peace of nature, and kind of letting go of all of the grind of work, of relationship, of just like your mental, just daily monkey mind kind of thing is what hiking is so relieving. From that. So could I do it monthly? Absolutely. It's just the practicality of doing that with work, getting the time off. Like you and I had to set this up. We had to do this a month in advance.
Totally.
We would have to start planning now for next month's if we were to do it monthly. It's quite a project.
It's funny, like now that we're all like older, you got to take time off work, which means most companies require 2 or 3 weeks, right? And it's hard to just get your bag together and go. Some people can do that, but it's
some jobs allow for that. Definitely. Yours and mine seem like we need a little bit of
notice, 2 weeks is standard, but there's something to be said for the people that don't have the jobs that that they do get the flexibility. And maybe there's something to be said for people that just pack a bag and go for a night over the weekend. A closer place to where you live instead of like a longer hike.
Absolutely. Like what we did was a it was a pretty big trip. It took some money, took some resources, took some time, but I live in Indianapolis, and to just go down to Bloomington for a night, very doable. Just kind of on a whim and overnight. And even that is resetting. I've done that before a few times, just an overnight situation, just to kind of free my mind from the daily grind. And it's relieving every time.
Dude, awesome trip. I couldn't believe how beautiful Devil's Lake was.
I know.
The vistas looking 1,000 feet below.
The cliff sides.
The western side had these amazing cliffs. These hawks that were like swirling around the cliffs. Beautiful, like 3-4 foot wingspan. You know?
So in the element. Then with Toby, the pipe here, we just some pipe tobacco, just getting into like the Lord of the Rings element,
kind of feeling like we're Gandalf and stuff,
just in the wilderness with your tobacco and just just in it, man. It's great.
I like the morning oatmeal in the butane stove. I like the slop is what we call it, the slop, freeze-dried meals. It takes a strong person to have those, but I don't mind it once every couple weeks, every couple months. But it's different being out in the wilderness and surviving with what you have on your back. Coming in, coming out, not having a home base. You just, whatever you do for those couple days is on your back.
That's what we talked about earlier today, is that there's something so liberating and freeing about just you're surviving with exactly what is on your back. It just feels so it's so affirming of your independence and capability of survival. It's just like, it's great. It's autonomy. It's self-autonomous.
What is it about the experience that keeps you coming back? What is it that you just crave when you're, not doing it?
I think it is the immersion in nature, definitely. And not to speak for you, because I want to hear your answer to that too. But for me, it is being in those elements that, on my day-to-day basis, you in Chicago too, I'm in my house, I'm in my workplace, I'm in buildings, I'm inside.
Yeah.
And I'm around electronics all the time. I'm around phones and TVs and screens. And so getting into this peaceful, simple, natural, growing wilderness just feels right. It just feels good, period. That's what keeps me coming back, is that feeling of like, like relief in nature.
Yeah. I was really amazed at my ability to be present on the hike, because that's something I consistently try to do. And I'm a young student at it. Like, I'm someone that's always on my phone scrolling, trying to figure out the next thing. Definitely very sensitive to like dopamine and like little hits of jollies. Whether it's like a social media like or an email from my boss, like it all gives me this release of dopamine where I feel that, or epinephrine. We can talk more about that.
Totally.
I'm looking for stimulation all the time. And when I do that, I'm always looking to the forward and not right now. And sitting on the bench, you know, looking at the hawks, or being in the campsite, looking up at the trees. If you do that for a few days straight, it becomes a pattern, right? And you're able to like get there quicker and more naturally. Some people live in, I think some people really do a good job of living in that present place.
Definitely.
I would love to figure out how to get there. You know,
don't you know? I feel like
meditation is like the common
there
one.
You go.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. That's like, from what I understand too, and from what we've talked about before, like meditation is like probably number one way to get there. It's just, I don't know about for you, but for me to practice that daily, it only takes 10 minutes, but it just slips right by. You know, I don't do it daily. But whenever I do, I always feel better after it, definitely. Or taking the deep breaths, the Wim Hof type of like present breathing is also a great way to become more present.
So how do you do Wim Hof breathing? Is that the one, does he have multiple types of exercises, or is there one technique?
He really has one in particular that is his go-to. I think there are multiple exercises, but the one it's as simple as basically what you're almost doing is hyperventilating ultimately, without the speed of that, but you're hyper oxygenating your body, and that gives your mind a level of calmness and release. So the Wim Hof breathing is you do 30 deep ins, deep outs, deep in, deep out, 30, and then you hold your breath basically as long as you can go. And then another hold. After you've held your breath, you take a deep in, hold it for 15 seconds, and out. 3 of those, 3 sets.
Following the quick ones, then hold your breath for as long as you can.
That's right.
Okay,
yeah, exactly. And so what that does is every time after I do that, I don't know physiologically exactly what it does. I know that it hyperoxygenates your brain and your blood, and you blow out all your CO2, but you just feel more present, more grounded, more at ease. And there's actually real studies on this too. Like Wim Hof was studied by scientists, just in terms of like how he can connect with certain parts of his brain. He had an fMRI scan of his brain at one point, which showed a meditative alpha wave state from his breathing technique. It's pretty great.
Are the first ones, is the inhale longer than the exhale, or
about equal parts? So to do like 3 of them, it's like this. It's you do that 30 times, deep in, deep out, really blowing it. And you'll feel kind of lightheaded.
When I practiced with you a couple months ago before the October trip, I remember after 10, I was like lightheaded.
Oh yeah. Even just now.
It almost feels dangerous. Like it's not right. Like, but I was fine after 10. And like, I think what he even said on the podcast with Joe Rogan, saying like that you're fine.
Yes. It's okay.
When you breathe, you're breathing in oxygen. And you're breathing out CO2. Is that it?
That's right.
And so when you're breathing in so much oxygen in your body, that's good for your body, right?
Yes, it is. It is, absolutely. Oxygen is definitely good for your body. And it's, from what I understand, I mean, obviously we need it. It's in our daily air, but to blow out that CO2, it's almost like a respiratory detox, from what I understand. In the short term. So it's to go back to what we were talking, how we got here, it brings you more present. It's meditative. It's a meditative practice. It's good for calming the mind, the monkey mind.
So how do you meditate besides the Wim Hof, or is that your main meditation?
That's what I'm mainly doing now, but then I'll also do different types of meditation based on what my new kick is, you know, what the newest YouTube video is that look cool. One that I do now is I'll light a candle, and in a dark room I actually have a candle in my closet, and I'll just light the candle, and for 10 minutes I just stare at the candle.
But dude, fire is so it's brilliant.
I know.
Fascinating. Yes. Just a little flame, and the way it is consistently there. And
I've always been a pyro. Yes.
Yeah,
and the way it waves, just so like it's, you know, and with your breath you can see it just moving subtly. It's just like, it's cool. Yeah.
That's a cool one. Do you still have your water temple with the literal candles, candles in your bathtub?
Of course.
Tell the story of what your dad said when he saw it.
Oh yeah. He's just, I mean, I sent a photo, they're just like, that's ridiculous. Yeah. My family.
Didn't he say something like, oh, like, don't show your landlord that?
Yeah, that is what he said. Yes. He goes, yeah, don't show your landlord that. Let's keep that. You know, they're thinking of course, like thinking of safety, risk management as their son. They gotta, you know, just keep that cool.
And you're just laying in the bathtub with like your 6 or 7
candles. It is okay, so 2 on each shelf, and I have 6 shelves. So 12 candles.
Jeez.
In there. I've only done it like twice. But
So Indianapolis, you're living there. I'm here in Chicago. Fisher's growing. You're there right now, the north side of Indy there. You like Fisher's, right?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's grown a lot. When I traveled out west and then came back, Fisher's in just that year's time had really blown up in terms of food and breweries and Topgolf, and it just blew up as kind of a center of its own. And I was like, I feel good here. It's got a good vibe. So I moved in.
I remember that when I saw it being built, like, oh, they're putting a Sun King there, and like, you know, right off 116th Street there. And we go to that Hyatt House Hotel.
Your go-to.
You know, there's obviously St. Elmo's has that offshoot restaurant there. What's it
called?
1933. They have really good steaks and burgers.
Oh yeah.
Really enjoy it whenever we go to Indy, staying in Fisher's, and then of course getting Handel's ice cream.
Yes.
I'm a big ice cream guy.
Absolutely, me too. Yeah, Liz and I get Handel's like a few times a week. There.
So I'm gonna kick it over to work in a second. Every podcast I have a question of some sort. I'm gonna ask you this. Ask you it again. Fuck, marry, kill. Cookies, cake, or pie.
That's funny.
And you know what fuck, marry, kill means,
of course. Yeah.
So you got fuck, marry, which kill. One do you kill? Like of those 3?
Okay, cookies, cake, or pie. I think I would marry cake. I can say that off the bat. I love cake. It's easy going. It's not light, but it's lighter comparatively.
It's as healthy as a hot dog.
It's healthy. It's the healthiest of those. It's just like you know, you can eat a lot of it, and you know, where a cookie and pie is more condensed. So I feel like I get more bang for the sugar. Man, cookies are so good. Probably fuck cookies. And probably kill pie. I know I said it differently last time. I probably kill pie. I don't have pie a lot.
I knew you'd change, because that's pie is so one-dimensional. You can put things in there, but like cookies and cake, there's a shitload of kinds of cakes.
There's a lot you can do, and I have them so much more often. I don't have pie much at all.
It's very much like a dessert thing. Oh, like I baked a cake, or I have cupcakes, or like you know, I have a sponge cake, or like you bring your neighbor a fruit cake or something, you know? Like,
yes.
I know I have it, but maybe.
No, I can't bake. We can't do that.
No, I love
but pie, like how many times in a year do you have pie?
I mean, if I make a thing out of it, okay, I got a pie, like I'll have it for like after dinner, but it's not like it's something that I have every week.
No.
You know?
No.
You only get so many eat sparingly's in the food pyramid, you know?
Exactly.
But we're talking about that too, like how food has changed, and talking about big milk in the 90s.
Big milk.
Demanding that every family drinks like a gallon a day.
Like ridiculous. The Got Milk campaign. Yep.
We're the only mammal that drinks other mammals' milk, I think.
We are the only one who drinks, and especially past infancy. From what I understand, we're drinking milk and we're 31. You know, there's no animals that are in their like adult age drinking milk. You know, it's kind of odd, especially in other animals.
Just imagining like a cow like use its like legs to like harvest goat's milk, and then these cows are drinking it. That's what we're doing. As Sears.
That's exactly what we're doing. Imagine an adult cow drinking from a goat.
It's fucking weird, man.
Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah. But I think that the food pyramid has changed in a good way, because it used to be a shitload of grains. Like, I think people were getting fat because of all the carbs they were eating
at the base. Were
like
bread.
11 servings a day of bread.
There were 11 servings a day. It's like have a loaf of bread.
Imagine slamming 11 pieces of bread in a day.
It's a lot.
Even like 3 or 4 per meal. You're like, God damn it, I'm sick of bread. Just on your 11th piece, just like
that's a lot.
The existential terror of having to eat 11 slices a day.
And there were people in that time who were obsessive with it, who were like, I got to get my 11 servings of bread in. Someone's like, I'm so healthy, I eat a loaf a day.
Yeah, just like with the water. 8 glasses, 11 servings.
He's like, a loaf has 12 slices, so I eat 11 slices, almost a full loaf.
It's like for breakfast, we're gonna have muffins. For lunch, we're gonna have pizza, and for dinner, we're gonna have pasta. We're gonna have and then finish it off with some cake and cookies. Get those. So you would
healthy, balanced diet.
You would fuck cookies and marry cake and kill pie. Okay, that's a good choice. I think I would do the same.
Yeah.
So, dude, how is your new role with a community and your job as an RN?
It's been good, man. I've been a nurse now for, how long has it been? 5.5 years. It's flown by. It's weird. So right now I work on the drug. Cool. We're good. Okay. Yep. We're back. Little intermission. So drug and alcohol detox floor. It's been good. It can be stressful, definitely. But I've learned, what I am thankful for is I've learned a lot. I've really brought up some of my medical chops doing it, because I've never done ICU nursing or something that is hardcore intensive, just straight mechanical medical. But the detox, drug and alcohol has a lot more of that, because you got to be aware of seizure risk and a condition called delirium tremens when you're coming off of alcohol. And there's just magnesium levels getting low from drink, especially alcohol. As we're drinking here, alcohol is like the hardest drug,
really,
in terms of what it physically does to your body. I mean, that's, you can argue many different directions there, but in terms of withdrawal, it's the most dangerous.
Didn't you say that like people that you've seen have done like a handle a day?
Yeah.
That is so much.
That's actually very common.
And that's liquor. That's 40%.
Liquor handle day. There's the most I've ever seen is a gallon a day. There's a guy who did a gallon vodka in 24 hours.
Jeez.
Continuously. They wake up at 2 a.m. and continue to drink. And it's a progressive disease. You have to keep drinking more and more and more to get the same high.
You literally kill yourself eventually.
Yeah. A lot of people do.
Overdose from, or just do something stupid like get in a car accident, or
a lot of people do. It doesn't affect us how it affects these people who are addicted to alcohol. We're lucky to not have that thing, the addiction.
You think certain people are predisposed to be addicted to substance?
Definitely.
Is it biological, you think?
Yeah.
I think I read that it's with alcohol.
It's mostly genetic. It's mostly how your brain responds to the chemical. Some people, we get a buzz, we get feeling good. Some people, I talked to a guy, he was like, it feels ridiculously good to be drunk. Like
for him, that's the thing.
It's absolutely euphoric. The dopamine rush that he gets is not, it's just like he has to have it.
Yeah.
He has to have it continuously.
Yeah.
Absolutely addicted. Some people get addicted to food, I mean, different brains, different people, but definitely there's predisposition to addiction.
So your role now is you're an ICU nurse, intensive care?
No. Okay. I'm not.
You were at one point though, right?
Never.
It's always been psychology or something with the brain.
Yeah. It's always been psych. So drug and alcohol.
Okay.
Yeah, detox.
Your previous role, you were doing admin kind of paperwork for a couple months.
Yeah, I did.
You were not a fan of that?
Not at all. No, it was like I was a call center coordinator, basically. Like, this bed number, get this guy over there. Do we have the voluntary paperwork? Do we have the doctor's consent? Do we, yes, we got it. Call the unit, put the fax the paperwork. It was just like coordinating. No patients that I took care of. It was just like admin, super fast, stressful. I didn't like it.
And you like what you're doing now much more, right? Being on the floor.
Yes, working with patients is much more interesting to me.
Tell the story of when the guy threw the TV at you.
Oh man, yeah, that was really crazy. That was like maybe the scariest experience I've had. Yeah, sure. This was like 3 years ago now at the San Francisco Stress Center, and the floor below us called a code, which is when a patient is acting up, getting violence. So my buddy and I, we ran down there to respond to the code, a behavioral code. This guy he was coming off of meth, and he is a sociopath, diagnosed sociopath, terrible combo. So no empathy, doesn't care if he kills somebody, and he's coming off of meth. He had ripped a mounted TV off the bracket, off the wall, and then he had ripped the metal bracket off the back of the TV and started coming at us with this baton,
with like a
metal baton, basically.
That's
terrifying. He's a huge guy too.
It was like bolted in there.
It was bolted in, and he ripped it off. This guy was enormous. He was, I mean, at least 240 pounds, 6'2", big guy. Very scary. So we got everyone back. People were kind of hiding, and then he was starting to bash on the window to try to break through. We had called the police at that point. We had to just wait. We were like, if he escapes, that's fine. Like, we let him go.
Yeah,
he's got a metal baton. He's gonna kill somebody.
I think what's scary is when people are irrational like that. You can't
definitely predict. There's no reasoning with him. You couldn't say stop. He didn't care. He said, I'm escaping now.
So then what happened?
Then the cops showed up. They told him to stop. He actually picked up the TV and slung it at me, and I had to dodge the TV.
Oh my gosh.
And then the police went in. They were like, let's go. The police went in first. Then me and my buddy went in, like grabbed his legs, and we all went to the ground with him. And then we just kind of dogpiled him, basically just laid on him until he submitted. And then we had to put him in restraints and give him a shot, basically tranquilize him. This guy was out of his mind.
And was that an episode for that patient, or was it?
Yeah,
it was always that way.
No, it was a psychotic episode because of his meth use. Jeez. Yeah.
Meth. So you're seeing a lot of people that have drugs and alcohol dependencies or habits that make it so they can no longer, they need help.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Absolutely. Yeah. That's what the floor is for.
And they'll check themselves in, or will their parents or loved ones? How does that work?
Both. Either or. Sometimes they'll check themselves in because they've lost a job, they can't stop, they got a divorce, their wife gave them an ultimatum, you have to get help now. Or sometimes they'll be brought in involuntarily by the police. They'll have people downtown strung out on meth, running around naked, and they'll bring them in to the hospital involuntarily. The police will pick them up, called an immediate detention. And so then they have to get treatment even against their will, ultimately.
How do you administer treatment to someone who doesn't want treatment?
You have to do, if need be, if they're acting too crazy, injectables. So you have to call a code and get security and even hold them down. It sucks when it happens, but it does happen. So hold them down and literally inject them in the arm.
Is treatment, maybe, is that literally helping them get sober, or can it be like mental after? Like, I'm trying to understand. Is your job to help people get sober as they come in immediately, or is it a prolonged inpatient kind of like couple weeks of care?
Our job is to get them sober, is to detox them. So to get them to their sober baseline off the chemicals.
Yeah.
And then from there, they will leave our hospital and go to a treatment center, facility.
So you're seeing them in.
So we're acute.
Yes. Episode. Holy shit.
In the episode, acute care, bring them to baseline. Now they're stable. Now they can go to rehab.
Oh my God, dude. That's heavy stuff.
Yeah, it can be. It can be. Some days can be chill, thankfully, but it can also be, pretty stressful.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
One of the things I'm thinking about, just maybe applicable to everyone, is like how you manage stress, or how you continue to come to work at a place. Let's say you've had a couple days in a row that were really tough.
Yeah, it can be hard.
Right.
Yeah.
Like specifically think about St. Louis.
Yes,
you were there.
Very tough.
And then when the hospital doesn't help by having good organization on the floor,
horrible hospital,
or coworkers that are just not helpful.
Yeah.
Talk more about just how you manage stress.
Sure. Yeah. That's a good question. A big thing is for me is after I've had a really stressful day, I'll do exactly as I mentioned before, the deep breathing. You know, I practice even prayer and positive thinking and kind of self-motivating to go in there. You know, another big thing is that, you know, we talked a little bit about this before, is that, you know, in my early 20s, I developed depression. So I take a daily antidepressant that naturally on a daily basis helps with stress and how overwhelmed you can get. But multiple methods. Venting, probably the number one method I use is venting, actually, is like after a really hard day at work, I will call, you know, Liz or my mom or somebody and just vent it out, or even to coworkers and report, you know, and just be like, depending on what happened, you know, if a guy was being a dick and you couldn't say, I'd be like, this fucking asshole, you won't believe this shit, like, or this is happening. And even that actually does kind of get it off my chest.
Totally.
You know, venting.
Calling a loved one.
Calling a loved one and just being like, listen, I just need you to hear me. And I just need to like just storm it out on you. And that's actually probably the number one go-to method that I use that takes it down a few notches at least. And then if from there I'm still stressed out, then it's prayer and breathing and meditation and that kind of thing, and exercise.
Dude, exercise is so great for stress.
As a habit. Exercise is like a maintenance type of
continual
thing.
Yeah. With St. Louis, you told me once that just with the team there, and it was a travel nursing gig. You were there 3 months or 2 months? How long?
3 months. Yeah.
You talked about just how it's kind of a rundown hospital, and just like the patients you were working with were really tough, right? Rough area of the city, and like
the ghetto of St. Louis.
Yeah, it's rough, man.
And it was a ghetto hospital, very shitty. It was really hard, man. Really dangerous hospital. I got punched in the face there.
Oh my god.
Guy, you know, split my lip on my tooth. And thankfully I didn't, you know, lose any teeth or anything like that, but I like a cut lip. It was just dangerous. And I could feel it every day. I felt like at risk.
That's
right.
I
was at risk.
You're doing that kind of work with people that are very unstable, you know.
It's amazing how bad healthcare can be in certain places in the United States. That was one of them. Oh yeah. I mean, if you saw it, it looked like a third world country hospital.
What made the hospital like that? Just the lack of resources or funding, or bad management?
But all of those is what made it like that. So all the patients that they took were it's the ghetto of St. Louis. So they're all Medicare, Medicaid. So any funding, or they don't even have Medicare, Medicaid, because they're schizophrenic and they never signed up, and they fell through the cracks of the system. So the pay that they get is not from private insurance, which pays so much more. It's just poorly funded. There are no Anthem Blue Cross Blue Shield patients who go into that hospital. It's all no insurance or bare minimum insurance. And that's what pays the hospital.
Jeez.
So, you know, that's our for-profit system is what you have good hospitals and you have shitty hospitals. That's the nature of it.
When you were in the middle of that for that short time, what was it like to leave a dangerous place and then come back every day forcefully? Because you're working there. You can't just give up on your travel nursing stint, you know? Yeah.
What was it like, man? I mean, it sucked. It was what it was. I had to do on off days a lot of decompression stuff, you know, going to, which I love, man. You love to go to coffee shops and just like, you know, getting coffee, watching a show, and just working out, just trying to decompress. I mean, on off days I could relax, but before I had a stretch coming up, I would definitely, like the night before, be like, all right, you know, like psyching myself into it. I remember listening to certain songs. We talked about it, My Morning Jacket, Run Through, you know, being one, even some Led Zeppelin songs, you know, of just like trying to just like recharge myself to get ready for it, you know, kind of battle mode. I mean, I imagine a lot of people have jobs that they can't always enjoy, like every day. You know, most people probably have a job they can't enjoy. It's work. And it's like, how do you get yourself to be motivated or just change your perspective on it? You know, maybe you could listen to Run Through or something and feel like just the energy there and go into work easier than if you didn't, right? Definitely. I think so. Definitely. Yeah. Even if it's just for an hour, to get past that first hour is, you know, music helps a lot, is very, a big part of my life. Definitely. You know, mentally, psychologically, emotionally. What made you want to get into nursing? It just kind of felt right. when I was in undergrad, I remember hearing about it. I wasn't really into my major at the time. I wasn't really interested. I was studying health administration, degree in public health. And I wasn't interested. I didn't feel too motivated or inspired. And I remember hearing about nursing and just feeling like, that sounds pretty interesting. I never even thought of doing that. Like, I like working with people. I like helping people. I like connecting with people. And then I did a shadow just to kind of check it out. I liked what I saw. I like some of the science, and the combination of science and connecting with people felt really good. And it just, what got me into it, it just felt right. And it just snowballed from there.
Yeah. I know you and I are talking about ENFP or different Jungian, personality profiles.
Yeah.
And what you talked about is that you and I are intuition, right?
Yeah.
We share that N letter.
Yes.
And I'm very much feeling a lot of my day.
Yeah.
How does this feel? What seems right?
Yeah.
How does my stomach say this is good or bad? And people that don't see that would be like, that's so logical. That's you're a fool. You're a fool, right? Like you're there's no logic there. But to me, it's using a basic level of logic to present choices.
Yeah.
And then what my heart or my brain is drawn to is where I'm naturally going to enjoy my life,
and what is going to serve you and build you up
and have an amazing life. Like, I'm getting emotional right now thinking about all that's out there for us to accomplish and achieve and see, I'm just so grateful for like this last weekend and like friendships like yours, and like the fact that I have a job that allows me to take a week off and do that. Cheers, man.
I agree. Definitely agree. We are blessed,
and
for sure.
I'm thankful for a heart that is like, I feel like I know myself to an extent, which I'm thankful for, because that has taken some work. Yeah. To know this is what I don't want, this is what I do want, kind of thing.
Definitely. It's taken a lot of work.
But what you said about work, it just felt right to you, and someone like me. I absolutely get that. That might be the most important thing before accepting an offer.
For sure,
any employer,
if it feels right. That's why I went to IU. That's why you went. I checked it out and it just felt good.
Yeah.
And that just tells you this. Yes, it's just your inner, your heart, your soul, whatever you want to call it, just saying yes.
And it's not this like lovey-dovey, super overly emotional thing. It's actually pretty quick. This feels right.
That's it.
And then you make your choice.
That's it. Which is a logic to me. It's a feeling logic, if there is such a thing.
And if you're making decisions based on numbers or money or resources as the primary thing, you can always go back and forth, right? This could have happened if I would have accepted this, or that. Like with this feel right, it's a very obvious. Yeah. There's no regrets. It felt right,
That's it. Exactly. In different strokes for different folks. Some people do go by crunching the numbers, by the logic, by the equation of this will allow this for me or give me the best. And that does work for some people. And that's just different brains. That's just different temperaments, right? But what works for your temperament and my temperament is why that Myers-Briggs is so cool, is intuition and feeling is your guide. Yeah. That's my guide too. Yeah. That's what I live my life by. Logic is there.
Yeah.
Of course, if I don't even know if some people do, it works for some people, but like becoming like a bandy and just tour hopping, following a band forever, sounds amazing. It's like, logically doesn't quite work, even if my heart felt like that'd be a good idea. But I don't, there is still logic, is I guess is my point, is it's not like I'm totally like that feels good, so let's do it.
We were looking at some of the species of like plants and even the moss or the fungus on the rocks up there. Yeah. And I was like, a cool job would be to be a naturalist. Yeah. And your logic baseline was like,
what would you do?
How do you make money with that?
Right.
And that's, people that are like super ideological would be like, that's so horrible. Like, it's not about the money, but it's like, it is. It kind of is.
It kind of is. It's a factor. It's definitely a factor.
It's Derek from Step Brothers. It kind of is about the money. When he's like, I'm the second highest grossing helicopter salesman in the entire Western seaboard.
I haven't ate a carb since 2003. You see those days? I love that.
That's my favorite Will Ferrell movie, man.
It's a classic.
Geez. Yeah. So thanks for telling me more about just like stress in the job. You've been doing 6.5 years of nursing, right?
5.5.
5.5. Okay, so you're traveling most of the time. or right now you're on a current stint of just being an indie?
Yeah, I've been in Indy for a year, and I traveled for a year before that, just over a year before that.
And where were you to start? Where did you go through, and then where'd you end?
So one you mentioned, St. Louis. I was there for 3 months. Then I was in Seattle for 7 months after that, and then I was in Reno, Nevada for 3 months after that.
What was being in Seattle when COVID came on like?
So COVID came on when I was in Reno. The first, well, if you remember, the first case in America was just north of Seattle. As I was living there, as I was about to leave, you were actually visiting at the time.
That's so creepy.
Which is really crazy. It was literally within 50 miles of where I lived.
I remember there's that footage of that nursing home that like had the first outbreak where everyone started getting it.
Yes.
And it was kind of scary. Like thinking that you and I were in that region 3 days before that, you know, like I flew a week after that.
Yep.
It's, I mean, like, it was terrifying.
Yeah. It was weird. I was in Reno at the time when the shutdown happened in March, but the first cases I remember piling up, you know, in Seattle when I was leaving. I left in February 1st. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was weird, man. It was surreal. Like Reno is a city of lights. It's like a mini Vegas. Mm-hmm. And when the pandemic happened, they shut off all the lights. It was dark, pitch black in that city because they're casinos. So it was creepy. All the casinos were closed, so they shut the lights off.
And they're just creepy. They're not making any money. No one can go in.
They're done. They're closed. And Completely. It was just like
they're saving that electric bill.
Yeah. It became a ghost town. It went from like Vegas to ghost town.
And that'd be depressing to live there too.
Oh yeah. It was. Yeah. I mean, for everybody during the pandemic, but it was surreal being out on the road and then being like, whoa, something's happening here.
So how'd you tell your boss that you wanted to end it? Or
that I cut the contract? I called him and said, hey man, I apologize. I got to head home, you know? And he was totally understanding about it. COVID shut down their plans for expansion, which is why I was there in the first place on a contract. So they didn't even necessarily need me. I was kind of extra staff at that point. So I was like, hey, I got to go home. And because of the pandemic, he's like, I get it, man. Times are weird. You know, good luck to you. I appreciate your help. It was actually very cordial. It's cool.
Yeah.
Worked out.
Seeing the West, that's such an awesome opportunity. Not everyone gets to do 3 months somewhere, then literally move somewhere and have it be able to hop like that. So
yeah, it was great. Cool. Loved the experience, especially Seattle is a very cool city, has a great feel to it. Really love it.
What is it about? Can you put your finger on the culture or just the vibe?
Yeah, again, it comes down to the vibe. It's a combination of factors though. It is number one, the natural beauty of the area is that you've got Rainier and the Cascades and the lush green moss and ferns and evergreens and the ocean and it's the seafood. It's the best seafood I've ever had. It's the best coffee I've ever had. It's coffee culture.
The coffee, I can't even imagine.
Dude, it's the food in general, the food, coffee, beer. It's just like just the best of you know, art and food and culture. It's a music city. It's just a really just an art center. Yeah. And I love it, man. It felt so good being there. It just felt really cool. And it felt kind of like a second home, kind of like how Bloomington felt when we were living there. It kind of felt like a second
7
home.
months is a long time.
Yeah.
That's half a year or more, you know.
It was enough to feel established and like a regular, you know. I didn't get frozen, you know, after a certain point. They knew that I lived there. When I saw faces enough, they were like, all right, he lives here. He's not a tourist.
So at that time that we went to the Vig, what's it called? The
VIF. And you got frozen.
The Vigs in Chicago. But
the phenomenon we're referring to is the Seattle freeze, which is a standoff attitude towards potential tourists. And Worley was frozen.
I got frozen in my feet.
She just looks at you just like, shut up.
I literally walk in the restaurant. I'm like, what's your most popular dish?
And she's like, can you shut your stupid face and just order something?
I don't think she said that.
She didn't say that. But
she thought on her face is like, this fucking tourist.
She didn't say it, but she thought it.
I don't even think I was being that obnoxious.
Not at all.
I just literally
not at all.
But it seems like whenever I go, there's a certain standoffishness, very much like a pretentiousness, like we're better than you kind of thing.
It's the hipster vibe.
Yeah, hipster. Yeah, like almost just like a little bit on the hoity-toity, but like ironically side, you know.
I'm artsy, I'm edgy, I'm cooler. Yeah, there's a lot of that in Seattle. A lot of it's a hipster center for sure.
Yeah. That was it. I only got frozen that one time badly, I think. Hopefully.
Yeah. My dad got frozen. A little short story. So check this out. This was kind of funny. Dave got frozen because Dave's such a talkative, jovial guy.
Yeah.
We were hiking this, or just walking around this place called Green Lake, and I think my dad made eye contact with some guy walking towards him. He's like, "Hey, how you doing?" This guy's just like,
he just
dead staring.
Wait, in a hike?
No, not a hike. A walking circle.
Hey, how you doing? It's so Midwest.
He was like, "Hey, how you doing?" Midwest.
Yeah,
Midwest personality, and this guy just stares at him, just like, "What the? Shut up." Just like, shut your stupid face. And my dad even said, he was like, that guy just totally blew me off. Like, I was being nice. Like,
it's the freeze, Dad.
The freeze. He got frozen.
Oh my God. So we'll see if that's real or not. I've been watching some videos on it, trying to figure out if I ever get there.
Yeah.
You know, for an extended period of time, if I will overcome the freeze, or I'll continue to be frozen perpetually.
I think if you live there, you don't become frozen, especially if they see you multiple times. They're like, all right, we don't need free. He actually lives here.
Whirly guy,
yeah.
So funny, man. So let's kind of wrap it up here.
Yeah, sure. It's probably been some time.
Yeah, just an amazing couple of days with you, buddy.
Very, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, really enjoyable, really healing, very good. Great vibes, great time. We have fun.
Yeah.
We have depth in our hangs. It's just, it's great.
Yeah, let's definitely continue to do it. We'll get some other people involved, and it's I'm just really thankful to have a friend like you that is so into nature like me, and you know, so into experiencing new things, you know,
and music and all this shit we're into. It's a good connection.
Yeah, I really see you as a journeyman, like a pioneer going to new lands.
Right? Yeah, that's cool.
It's so awesome that's your personality has that aspect of it, and that we can all tag along and just, you know, see each other grow. 31.
Yeah, that's right.
Late 30s.
Late 30s.
31, man. Getting up to the
we've been running this joke since we were 21. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Late 30s. Yeah.
No, 31 is, I think it feels a little old, but I'm also pumped for the future to see kind of what the rest of the decade holds, you know?
Same. Yep.
Yeah. All right, buddy.
Cheers, brother.
Cheers.
Yep. Like your Joe Rogan. Thank you for having me on here. And appreciate it.
All right.
To the audience.
Let's get it done.
Yep.
Bye.